Today, I want to show you what we have been building here to make the simplest and fastest way to understand your subscription revenue as a SaaS founder. I'm Elliot Plant. I am the head of engineering here at Topline, and I'm incredibly proud of what we've built. I'm going to take you on a quick demo through signing up and onboarding, how you do the simple integration, and then what comes out the other side. All the metrics that you get to see that we're building every single day for you so that you can better understand your business. Let's get into it. So once you have created an account on Topline, the first and only thing we're going to ask you is what integrations do you use to build your customers, and what integrations do you use to keep track of your accounting? So I just connected my Stripe account and my QuickBooks account using OAuth, and both of those connections are read-only. We don't want to write any data, and we want to make sure that your data and your customers' privacy is absolutely respected. That's something that we keep at the top of our minds here. Once you have integrated with your Stripe account and your QuickBooks account, we're going to show you a dashboard of the most important metrics that your VCs are asking for every single day. What is your MRR? What's your average revenue per users? How many customers do you have, and how is that changing over time? What is your retention percentage? Those are things that are super important to your business, but are actually really tricky to calculate when you have to do it in Excel. If you want to look at how your monthly recurring revenue changes over time and expansion and contraction, you could be spending days or weeks on that every time that your VCs are asking for that at the end of the quarter, and we can give that to you every single day. If you want to look at what your cash burn looks like and your runway, we're going to be getting you for that so you know that you have the money to survive until you have the next payroll, or you can make it until your next funding round. Those are things that we want you to be able to have at your fingertips. I also want to show you some of the revenue metrics we calculate, because revenue is really the lifeblood of your company. How is your revenue expanding? How much are you losing from customers who are leaving? What about customers that are contracting revenue? Is that, all of those ways that your revenue changes are really important to understand what your marketing strategies and are whether or not they're working, and what kind of retention plans you have in place for the features that you're building to make your customers happy. Being able to see revenue over time is incredibly helpful, just as a way to understand if your business is doing well. We also really try to provide a lot of transparency in how we calculate data. For example, we want to show you exactly how we calculate these values under the hood, so you can make sure that what we're showing you is exactly what you're looking for. After your existing revenue, how that changes, super important. We want you to know that on a day-to-day basis, what is changing between your lost and expanded, your new and contracted revenue is super, super important. Finally, we want to show you what the composition of your revenue is. Do you have a lot of annual contracts or monthly contracts? Are you shooting for more annual contracts or monthly contracts? And being able to track that over time is really important for your business. Looking at the customers page, knowing just how many customers you have can actually be kind of tricky, because sometimes when you have customers that might have big discounts, some might be demos, some might be partners. If you just want to know how many people are paying for your product, that's something that we can give you right away. If you want to change, see the change in those customers over time, that's also something we're going to be able to give to you straight out of the box. And finally, average revenue per user. That's something that is really critical to a lot of SaaS businesses, and understanding how am I getting more value out of my users and how am I giving more value to my users is a way that you can track if your product is becoming better as you build it, and you're not just getting more and more people on board, but you're actually delivering more value to those people. I think another metric that a lot of founders are either concerned about or their VCs are concerned about is retention. Something where you need to know exactly how many people are sticking with your company and how are they voting with their dollars. So we want to show you on the net how many companies are still spending money with you. And that includes how many people are spending more money with you. And it's something that is really tricky to calculate just from Excel. You have to know, when did a customer join? When did they leave? How are they expanding? And those are things that are kind of hard to tell just from the data you're getting from Stripe. But we're going to calculate that for you to show you what your growth story looks like and how much value you're delivering to those customers. Another important metric from revenue churn is customer churn. On a logo basis, are you losing more customers or are you keeping those customers? And how is that changing over time? You want to see your retention go up, and the inverse, you want to see your churn go down over time. And being able to show that story graphically to your VCs is really important to help them stay on your side and increase the valuation at any round you're having in the future. Finally, looking at retention as it changes from cohorts can be really illustrative of how your business has improved over time. You might have a month that doesn't have a lot of sales, but you might have done a bunch of business. You might have been focusing on the actual product itself to make it better, to make it stickier, to make it something that your customers want to use more. And that might be tough to tell from sales alone, but you could say, hey, once we added this feature, our retention skyrocketed. And being able to show that graphically to your team and to yourself and to your VCs can make it a lot easier to tell the real story of what your business is doing. Cash. This is the most important thing for understanding whether or not your business is going to survive. How much money you have in the bank and how much time you have before you need more capital are critical. And those are the things that all of the founders we're talking to say is keeping them up at night. Knowing how much time you have left is so important, and we want you to be able to sleep so that you can focus all of your energy on building a great product and way less of your energy on, am I going to have enough money to make payroll? We're gonna show you what your cash flow looks like. We're pulling this from your QuickBooks or your accounting software so that you know where your money is going every month. Finally, we want to be able to show you your cash balance over time. Cash balance, pretty straightforward, pretty simple, but really nice to be able to see graphically so that you can tell where your business is going from a cash standpoint. The last thing I want to talk about is how Topline can help you with the financing of your business. We don't just want to help you understand what your journey looks like as a founder from a revenue perspective, but we actually want to affect what you're able to do with that capital. What we've heard over and over again from the founders that we talk to is that when they actually understand their business, when they really get to know how much they can change their churn, how much of an impact they get to have every single day on making their product better, and how that really affects the numbers of their business, they don't want to sell it to VCs, they don't want to sell it to private equity. They really want to make that business much more attractive without having to lose a big chunk of it every time. So what we can do here at Topline is give you a cash advance on your existing recurring revenue. We can understand what your churn looks like, what your MRR looks like, what your growth looks like, and how you are helping grow that business. And we can give you cash right now that you can take out of those recurring revenue streams, and you can put that to work on marketing. You can put that to work with building your team. You can make your product even better without having to lose a big chunk of your business. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at our product demo. I'm incredibly proud of what our team has built and what we're building, and I am super stoked to see what you have to say and what you think of what we're building and how we can help you. Let us focus on the finances so that you can focus on building something that really matters for the world. Thanks.